How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of AddiBioitics Chat Over Coffee. This week we have the esteemed pleasure of introducing another martial arts actor, Mr Scot Harris. We're going to know how Scott got into martial arts, the titles he's won, and also how he got into the acting business as well. Now sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee, enjoy this interview, and please don't forget to click subscribe, turn on notifications, because we've got some new interviews coming your way and some food and travel vlogs. Scot Harris, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, long time no see. You keeping all right?
I'm well, brother. Thank you. Good to see you again. You haven't changed a bit since 2017 is when we met, isn't it, on set?
Yes, it was. Yeah, for a Gillette advert. Yeah.
Yeah. We instantly got on with each other, just like everybody else was on set. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you, and it was a great pleasure to keep in touch with you ever since then as well.
Absolutely, you too, man. Yeah, it's good to meet someone sort of on the same wavelength and stuff. And yeah, we instantly clicked, like you said. So yeah, it was good, man. It was a great day.
Definitely. But Scott, as we always do with all our guests, we'd like to start off by saying congratulations on all your accomplishments, whether it's in the world of martial arts, into acting, everything else you've been doing as well. It's, just keep up the great work. It's been absolutely great. And it's always a pleasure to have somebody on the show as well. And this is your induction into our biotic universe. So welcome to Biotic Universe.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
The door's open for you, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
So thank you. So, Scott, what is your martial arts background?
Okay, so primarily I train Muay Thai. That's my sport. That was kind of the one thing that I fell in love with kind of straight away. I dabbled in a little bit of boxing when I was very young, and then that was that. But then I think Muay Thai was the main one that kind of I trained in it and instantly fell in love. And then after that, I was forever a student of Muay Thai.
And how long have you been training Muay Thai in total?
In total now, probably around 5 to 6 years now.
Oh, brilliant. So it's been like pretty much since we met, wasn't it? Was it before then?
Yeah, it's probably slightly before you and I met on set. But yeah, I was probably sort of the infant stages of it then. But yeah, slowly sort of progressed through, and I do train in a few other bits. I do enjoy jiu-jitsu and grappling, wrestling, bit of boxing still, because it all goes hand in hand, especially with the hand-to-hand combat with Muay Thai. But yeah, Muay Thai, that's me. That's where I'm at.
Brilliant. So it's good to like always dabble in other forms of martial arts, isn't it? Because I remember a long time ago, it was always about if you trained in karate, you weren't allowed to train in jiu-jitsu. If you trained in kung fu, you weren't allowed to train in taekwondo. But lately, over the years, those barriers started breaking down. It's become the great sport that it is today, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think things like the UFC, Bellator, all of those sort of mixed martial arts platforms have really opened the door for everything else. So like you say, you can have a boxer that has that's his stand-up game, but then if the fight goes to the floor, then he's an amazing wrestler, or he's a brilliant Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy or woman. So yeah, the whole thing is all interchangeable now, and I think it's fantastic. So if you want a real rounded game, or a real rounded fighter, then that's the way to go for sure. So yeah, things like that have really helped.
That's good. And how long have you been competing now, and what titles have you won?
Okay, so I've been competing. I mean, I'm getting on a bit now. I mean, as we record this now, as in like Thursday, I'll be 45. So
no way.
Yeah.
Can we see some ID or no?
Yeah.
You look phenomenal for your age, Scott. Honestly, you look phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to tell you I have a very regimented thing that I do, but I don't. It is just good genetics, I think, and thankfully my mum had those, so I think I inherited them. So it was just luck of the draw. But yeah,
you've done a great job, Mrs. Harris. You've done a great job.
she'll be pleased you said that. um, but yeah, I straight out of the gate when I started, I was really hungry that I wanted to start competing. So I think I was trying to run before I could walk. And so that would really helped me because that in kind of I still had that desire to want to compete, but at the same time I knew I didn't have the skill set. So it was probably about a year into training and stuff that I kind of took my first fight. I won that one. And then I actually went on holiday. And I came back, and basically, long story short, I'd come off holiday the day before, still jet lagged, and I was going to see my friends compete in the gym that I was at. So we get to the destination, and then it turns out that one of the fighters, his opponent had pulled out. And this fighter was a Polish guy, and all his family had flown over to watch him fight. So straight away they said, he hasn't got a fighter. Do you want to fight him? So jet lagged, completely unfit. I said, yeah. And that opened up the show. And it's a good number of years ago now, so I honestly can't remember what it was. But that was just like a regional competition. And we opened the show, this guy and I won that fight as well. So that, I think, then cemented the idea for me that actually I feel quite confident with this. I've been had all this time out and I can still compete and still win. And then the last fight was a couple of years ago now, obviously because all the COVID and all this other business. And that was an MMA fight. That was my first MMA fight, and I won that within the first round. And yeah, that was on the ground as well, which is very new for me, and that was with a rear naked choke. So yeah, the jiu-jitsu didn't go amiss with that. So behind me, I have a couple of number of medals and stuff like that, things that I've won. So yeah, so I think it's down to a lot, obviously, with the pandemic that we're in right now, and then obviously with my age and stuff. A lot of these things I'm feeling it. I probably don't look my age, but my body is kind of aware that what we're doing is very extensive, and it's having an effect on my body.
Yeah, because it can take a little bit of a toll on yourself, doesn't it? Whether any sport that you're playing, whether it's even lifting weights in the gym, like even hats off to all the professional bodybuilders, pro fighters, footballers, everything, every like rugby players. The list goes on. Hats off to them. It does catch up to you because it's that thing, isn't it, Scott, where you hate to admit it, but when you're a competitive spirit and you're like, no, I can still do it, I can still do it, I can still do it, I can still do it. You're just trying to keep up with everybody who's like, hate to say it, half your age, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, my brain doesn't realize the age that I am. My body, however, does. So my heart is in the game still, but my body does take the toll afterwards. And especially if you're training and quite a few sort of rounds of heavy sparring, you feel it eventually. And yeah, you're right. I spar with guys that are a fraction of my age, and they'll just go all day long, and they're a lot quicker and faster than I am. Yeah, it is. I think you do reach a point where you think, okay, I still want to do this sport, but now it's more of a recreational thing as opposed to I want to compete at kind of a high level and see where it can take me. I appreciate that I'm a certain age now that I know where I'm at, but it's nice that I've dipped my toe in the water and I have competed and I have won. Excuse me, I've won all my fights. So if I finish now, I've finished with an unblemished record.
Impressive. Congratulations.